Hey y'all, Austin here back with the Beats Motel. So please check in, sit down, relax, and as always, enjoy the videos. So back with another weekly update. I will say it was a semi-productive week. The first part of the week not too productive, but the latter part of the week was very productive for me. So without further ado, just kind of get into what I read. I did finish Silence of the Lambs by Mr. Thomas Harris. And I will say this book was just amazing. I rated this 5 stars on Goodreads. It was everything that Red Dragon wasn't. And again, I want to reiterate, if you are a fan of Red Dragon and that's your favorite book out of the trilogy, with the Hannibal Lecter trilogy and whatnot, I don't mean to rag on it. It wasn't for me. Whereas this book gave me everything that I wanted. It was, I want to say, grotesque at certain points. It was descriptive. It was very, so you kind of got that mental picture in your head of, what you have, this Buffalo Bill fella who is, just mutilating these bodies. And he doesn't go overly gory with it or anything like that, but he gives you just enough details in your mind to kind of get a little under your skin and whatnot. And this book was a lot more quicker pace than the Red Dragon book was. The Red Dragon, I think the big issue that I'm realizing after, reading The Silence of the Lambs was the Red Dragon was just too drawn out. Certain events happened over a certain period of time. It was, like 3 or 4 weeks, a month time lapse that happened in that book. Whereas now in this, I mean, it was just boom, 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 boom. And I really enjoyed that. I set the pace for the book, letting you know, hey, they only have like 3 days. 2 days ideally to figure out, who Buffalo Bill is, where he has, his victim. We got to get this taken care of. And Mr. Harris, he just, again, I can't say enough about this. Personally, I would probably, as much as I love the book, I will say I would probably rank the movie just above the book. And the book was amazing. That is definitely, it's one I would definitely probably go back and reread. Like during the Halloween month, October, September, and whatnot, just kind of get in the mood. And I think that's just because Anthony Hopkins, Mr. Hopkins, did such a great job with the character as far as Hannibal Lecter goes. But again, definitely one I would highly recommend reading. I'm going to start working on a review for this book here, hopefully in a few days, and just kind of get that knocked out of the way as far as that review goes. But again, guys, pick that up. It was a great book. Another thing that I've been reading was Meddling Kids by Mr. Edgar Cantero. I am, per what my Kindle says, I have about 35 minutes left of reading to get this book done. So I should finish it today, or should finish it this week. I may start another book today, in all honesty. But again, reading this is definitely you get the love letter to Scooby-Doo, I will say. I wish he had done a couple things different with some characters, with the main cast. There's a couple parts that I honestly could do without. And he's kind of bringing it full circle around. Again, I'm enjoying it. This is a book that I've heard quite a few people are decisive about. You either love it or you hate it. I'm kind of starting to be on the fence about this. There's some things I really like about it. There's some things that not so much. I definitely do enjoy the getting inside the mind of every character in the main group, as far as that goes. Even Tim, the Scooby-Doo character, the dog, who really takes a back seat in this, I will say, which was kind of bums me out a little bit, I guess is the best way to put it, because I was kind of hoping we were going to get a talking dog, and we don't. You get the internal monologue for the dog. But again, like I said, I'm enjoying it. Definitely one that's not for kids. Definitely, I mean, this is more of an adult-esque Scooby-Doo book, which is ideally what it's intended to be. But again, I'm enjoying it, so I should finish this week. More than likely finish it today. The other book that I've been kind of reading a little bit is Dead House Gates. No update really with this. I haven't read a single page of it this week. Sitting at like 8%, I think is where I'm at, 7 or 8%. Again, just kind of milking my time with it until March starts. Whatever little bit I get into it, makes my life a little easier come March and April when I read it, and that's my main focus. Um, so just kind of going into transitioning here. I'm gonna do things a little different. I know there's a lot of people out there that'll do book haul videos and whatnot, and I don't want to wait to do a book haul video at the end or beginning of every month because I'll probably forget the books that I got. So starting off, if you saw my community post that I put out there about, does anybody else see a great deal on a series of books and just ends up buying them, not knowing a single thing really about it except for the first book? If not, I'm glad I'm not the only one out there. I did buy the first 5 books in the Scott Harvath series on my Kindle. I was actually checking this morning. I generally, about every morning, I'll check, the Kindle daily deals and whatnot, just kind of see what's on there. And they still have them. I guess in their book of the month. It's a series of the month, and so I may, in all honesty, go back in and buy the next 5. Book 6 through 10 or 6 through 11, whatever. Just because at $3 a book, that's a pretty darn good deal in my opinion. Again, I don't really know anything about them. I just know the first book essentially is you have an ex Navy SEAL who is a Secret Service agent. Sorry, got to get some of my Rudy's tea. Took my father-in-law out to lunch today. But he's a Secret Service agent, and the president, I guess, gets abducted or something, and he goes over to, I don't know, somewhere over in Europe and has to get him back. And it's kind of seemed like a James Bond-esque series thrown in with some, White House Down, if you ever seen that movie and whatnot. Kind of got the feeling from that from reading the description. So I bought that. Like I said, I mean, it seemed like a decent series, so I figured I'd pick it up. The next thing that I got, and I am super, super excited to read this. I was actually talking with a gentleman in the comments on one of my videos about John Wayne and Clint Eastwood and, who we prefer and whatnot. We took my father-in-law who came in from out of town to visit. Took him to an antique store just to kind of go look around and stuff. Yes, me and my wife are in our mid-20s, but we're old. We like to go look at antique stores to kind of see the old, cool stuff and whatnot. While we were there, though, I found the John Wayne story. Again, I am a huge John Wayne fan. I love him and Clint Eastwood. I probably would give the edge to Clint Eastwood personally. But I found this, and I was talking with my wife about whether I should get it or not. And she said, you know what, you love John Wayne so much, get it, read it, you'll probably like it. Just kind of looking at it, it's an interview, I guess, with John Wayne, and he talks about some of his, bigger movies that he made, like The Alamo, Stagecoach, In Harm's Way, True Grit, Rooster Cogburn. I mean, it looks interesting for sure to hear that interview with John Wayne and whatnot. Just kind of read that and get a little bit more in depth into John Wayne as far as that goes. The next thing that I got, and I think I mentioned this in my weekly update last week, but just in case I didn't, I picked up the first Bourne trilogy, the first 3 books. I don't know, I've just kind of been in a thriller, mood as far as what I'm wanting to read. Having read Silence of the Lambs and Meddling Kids and whatnot, I'm kind of starting to realize that I'm enjoying some of these, mystery books. I mean, I really enjoy the Walt Longmire series, and I enjoy these movies, and I've been wanting to read these, and for whatever reason, I could never find them used in decent condition for a decent price. And so I found them, I got them. I'm probably, in all honesty, I was talking with my wife, and I think I'm going to probably pick up the Bourne Identity over the Scott Harvath series, just because I've been wanting to read this for so long. And it's a little bit of a thicker book. I mean, it's a 500-some page book. So looking forward to getting into that. That's probably what I'll pick up, in all honesty, once I finish Meddling Kids, or I may pick it up tonight and just kind of get a chapter or 2 into it. But again, that's just kind of, what I kind of plan on reading here coming up is going to be just continuing with Deadhouse Gates a little bit at a time until March hits, and then probably pick up, like I said, the Bourne Identity, and kind of get into that. I want to, who is Jason Bourne kind of thing. As you can notice or tell here, the steps a little different. I do apologize for that. Just kind of figuring out a few different, ways to shoot some videos and whatnot. I'm still working on that video as far as, top, horror books that were turned into movies. I'm working on, there's so many and trying to narrow it down as far as that goes. And I've gotten some input on some great ones. One comment I got was, just about every Stephen King book has been turned into a movie, and I do agree with that. Unfortunately, if I were to do a top 10 Stephen King books that were turned into movies, it'd be a long list because there's some great ones out there. But again, that's just kind of the weekly update. Let me know down below, what are y'all reading and whatnot. Let me know how y'all's week's going. As always, enjoy every single one of you coming by, checking out my videos. If this is your first time seeing them, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Definitely trying to get some more videos, out there into in YouTube, out there on YouTube and whatnot. But as always, thank y'all, and y'all have a good one.